Yeah, we in the
We
building.
in the building. Another episode of Rell Gato TV. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, as the intro states on what you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Back by popular demand. Back by popular demand.
By the grace of God.
By
though.
the grace of God.
Amen.
Amen.
Yes.
We got my bro Zack in the building. Let's make some noise.
I like that. I like the soundboard.
Yes, sir.
You didn't do that last time for me.
One more time. I got one.
Okay.
Cut that, I cut that short on you.
Okay.
My brother in the building.
Yes, sir.
Lot to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to preface this for the people who didn't see the first episode. Go check out the first episode. The highest view count, I believe it's at 560 on the page. For some, it may not be a big deal, but for me, just getting into the content space is a very big deal. So while we're on platform, I'd like to say thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people came over to check out that episode because of what you do.
I pushed it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think, you know what I'm saying, we gotta really make sure that we give respect where the respect is due.
Mm-hmm.
I know you as a fighter, but today we ain't get into that.
No, we not.
Today we talking decode dating.
Yes. I
Which
just want to say something real quick.
Go ahead,
right?
my brother. Go ahead.
One fighting joke, right? But put it like this. 560 don't seem like a lot to people, right? Because
Right.
people used to seeing like 10,000, 20,000 views.
Right.
Just imagine getting jumped by 560 people.
Damn.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
I'm not doing the math right, but that's like 1,100 legs kicking you.
Damn.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. Remember the whole thing with 100 men versus the gorilla?
Yeah.
560 is fucking that gorilla.
That's a lot. That's a lot of people. So 560 is a big number, especially when you just starting off.
Yo, it's a big thing for me because, you know, when I started doing the content, I was just doing it because I've been on other people's podcasts. I started one way back in the day, but I never really, moved forward with it. But for me, coming out of making music, well, I still make music, but like podcasting is a rapper's retirement plan. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
Like when you know a rapper's getting ready to be done with rap, he start dropping. He start partying because he got to keep talking.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, it was a big deal for me because I didn't expect it. And it was more of an origin story on who you were, and then we started talking more into the fight game, right? But we didn't really get into the thing that drove all of that traffic, which is decode dating.
Yes.
Because you're known as a fighter.
Yes.
But from social media perspective, you're actually in the game. I don't know if I want to call it a dating coach. I don't know if I want to call it, what would you call it?
I wouldn't even call it a dating coach because I'm not a dating coach. I'm just a person giving my there's some facts to it and my opinions on the dating market because I'm young, you know, I've dated a lot of women, so I have stories to tell.
Right. Okay.
You know? So I have a kid and I've been married before.
Okay.
So it's like I've been around the block, you know? But not in a bad way. Not like no girl can say, oh, he a goofy, he did this, he stole from my purse or anything like that. It's more just so, you know, I have my stories to tell. So.
And now, here's a question. Because you see a lot of platforms now that talk about women, relationships, what men should do, do's and don'ts, you know. What made you want to get into decode dating and creating this platform that you created? So,
I'll speak for myself, but from other dudes, they're grifters. A lot of people get in it just to make money.
Right.
I looked at it as more of a message. I started decode dating on Instagram August 1st.
Okay.
Of last year.
Okay.
And I told myself, if I'm gonna do this as a hobby, go off.
Right.
And I did that. And when I started seeing a lot of traction come and my followers go up and my views go up, my main thing for starting this whole thing was to keep the nuclear family together. Because I always say family is the most important thing by any means.
So let me get this straight. Decode dating wasn't set up to warn men, or it wasn't set up as a red pill.
No, I watch red pill content, but
Right.
I don't subscribe to any pill.
Right. And so now it is, well, what you're saying is it was designed to keep the nuclear family together.
Yes.
Right. And it's designed that way from a male's perspective or a female's perspective.
Both. But
Both.
I'm not a female, but
Right.
I give I'll say the reference of what women can do to keep a man and what men should do to keep the relationship together.
What do you say to the women that say you don't have the right to speak like that?
That's okay on their opinion.
Right, right, okay.
I can't stop them from saying that.
Because I've seen this happen.
Yeah.
Like they said this, and I'll use Kevin Samuels as a reference.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They said Kevin Samuels was the king of this catchphrase: "Buy a dog and die alone."
Yeah.
Right? Buy a dog and die alone.
It sounds hilarious.
It is. Because it's a lot of it is true.
Yeah.
But then he died alone.
Yeah.
As they say.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, but people say that he died alone. I'm like, I don't know. He died
with a woman in the
yeah, I heard he kind of went out the way I like to go out.
Yeah.
Because my uncle, God rest the dead, he was married.
Yeah.
And he died alone.
Oh. Damn.
So what do you say to the women that say that you can't speak on that because you were married and you're no longer married?
So, for instance, I've heard this saying before. Just because I'm not certified in something, for instance, I'm not a mathematician, but I could say 1 + 1 is 2.
Right.
So that's common knowledge. So
Right.
It's more from some is from anecdotal evidence, like from my experience, but most of it is from what I've did as research, like biology and psychology. Once you dive into that, see how the human brain works, see how the human anatomy is set up, there's certain things that I'm saying that are facts.
Right.
And a lot of women don't want to hear the facts, so they'll try to disqualify you and say, oh, you can't say that because you're not a scientist.
Right.
Well, I could say I'm a man, and you can say you're a woman, but you're not God.
Right. Good point.
You know what I'm saying?
Good point.
So a lot of people will try to disqualify that, but I just sit back and laugh. Like, for instance, if I'm having an argument, debate, or discussion with another female, a lot of them will ask, oh, well, are you married? And I'll tell them no.
You know what kills me with that? Because I've had that question asked before. Here's the reality. When they ask us that, they ask us that as if we value marriage the same exact way that they do.
They don't get it.
They don't get it.
No.
They think, like, I had a, shout out to my lady. My lady and I was driving the car. And, you know, she lives in La La Land with me because she thinks she has a struggly life. For some reason, I'm like, you not like, trust me. I know females that have no man that wish that they would have a man that does half of what I do.
Yeah.
First of all, some of these dudes are so down that I can't even say that the woman is dealing with a man. They're dealing with a man-child.
Yes.
Right?
I'll say most dudes.
Right. A lot of dudes. And how they think, how they view the light, how they view the world, their accomplishments. So I was driving and I'm talking to her and I'm like, you know, you don't even understand how much I have to actually contribute to this situation. You think I don't do enough. And I'm like, you know, you driving in my car. Like, you know, you have been a passenger princess since I met you.
Yeah.
Any heavy lifting, I take care of that.
Yeah.
Any financial burden,
I take care
of that. You must think that I want to work all the time and that my life has been made so that I sacrifice everything to serve you.
Yeah.
And I said, don't work like that.
No.
You're going to hear no from me a lot if you're in a relationship with me because I'm human. I don't want to lift all the time. I don't want to go do stuff. Sometimes I want to sit my ass on the couch. What do you say to that?
That's the thing with a lot of women nowadays because feminism.
Okay. The F word.
Yeah, entered the entered the dating market to make women think that they're equal to men and
whoa,
not.
Wait.
Think about it like this, right? Because a lot of women say we live in a patriarchy, which is true. The infrastructure is built most of it by men.
And
right?
this is global.
Yeah, and it's global,
Yeah.
right? So if women were to be equal to men, you would physically have to be capable to beat majority of men, which you cannot.
Some of them are some big ones. Though.
They Amazonian women, I give it to them. But if you really think about it like this, if every man tomorrow, we all go to sleep and tomorrow we wake up and say, you know what? We want to eliminate all women on earth. We don't want to continue the cycle no more.
Yeah.
And plus we can find a way to procreate without women.
Yeah.
We'll just use like an incubator in like the lab or something.
Yeah.
And we wanted to annihilate them. We could do that.
Yeah.
So a lot of women now,
and it's not vice versa.
It's
by
not.
the way.
Yeah. It's not.
It's not vice
like,
versa.
It's literally impossible.
Yeah.
If women understand the capability that men have to destroy them, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, it's basically the authority figure
right
makes the rules, know your role and shut your hole.
You know why that doesn't exist?
Why?
Because you have other men to stand in the balance.
Yeah.
And it is necessary.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have men who are willing to stand in the balance and defeat and subdue evil men, then you literally have hell on earth.
And that's why I tell women at the end of the day, you need men, no matter how you look at it, because the same men you say are creeps and are doing a whole bunch of weird stuff to women, you need the other men that are not creeps to protect you.
Have you ever heard of a woman say that she doesn't need a man, like in person? What's the first thought that come in your head?
So I would tell you
when they say that to you.
It wasn't the first time, but the last time I heard it was about 2 years ago. Still in the dating market, still doing my thing. And a woman said, "Oh yeah, I'm independent and I don't need a man." And I had a little smirk.
Yeah.
But a lot of dudes will sit there and listen to that and accept it because they want the coochie out the woman. So they'll be like, "Oh yeah, facts, this, that, and the third." And a lot of women don't understand. Like if a man has value and they hear a woman say that, he's just gonna use you and kick you to the curb. And then once you start realizing, like, damn, he's not giving me no commitment, it's like you wasn't as valuable as you thought you was. You know what I'm saying? Like you're back down to reality. You actually need a man.
Well, I think, and like, let me just really digest what you're saying, right? When women say that to a man, you said that the man is just going to use them and kick them to the curb.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I disagree with you. A man is not going to do that. Someone who's defined as a man is someone who lives by morals and principles, right?
Yeah, we could definitely talk about that.
Even when a person that they're interfacing with doesn't have the same moral or principle, right? I think a man or a male who sees that and identifies that as a weak point for a woman and wants to exploit that, he's going to get his just due as well if he's looking at it from that perspective.
Yeah.
I believe, and what I've experienced, especially as I gotten older, is when a woman says she doesn't need a man, I actually pity that woman in a lot of ways. I feel sorry for her. I often question what was her relationship like with her father.
I was just about to say that.
I do that all the time because any woman in their right mind would never say anything like that. It's literally the epitome of delusion because our whole purpose on earth, the purpose of why we have sex is to procreate.
Yes.
And when a woman outright flatly says, "I don't need a man," without context, that's automatic damage. And I used to be like the type of guy, and I didn't realize this, I was unknowing to a lot of the things, but I used to be the type of guy that when a woman says that to me, I would immediately look at her, not as something where I could use, but I would look at her as, like, when she would say that, I would completely ignore it because I'm just trying to smash.
Yeah. A lot of men, I've done that before.
Just trying to smash.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you said that a man will automatically discard her. I think that we'll do it subconsciously.
Yeah.
Or we'll do it without even being fully aware. right? And that's why we'll say, oh, she's saying, oh, she talking that she don't need a man. All right, well, all I gotta do is just smash and she don't need me.
Yeah.
But I also think that if we engage in that type of behavior, that degrades us.
Yeah, we're part of the problem.
We're part of the problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Tell me a little bit about some of the most entertaining conversations that you've had on your platform, or some of the most interesting reactions that you've done on your platform.
So yeah, this is a good topic. Besides the live, because I don't get too much traction on there, which I'm gonna start doing.
Yeah.
It's mainly me making video clips.
Okay.
So I usually do the green screen thing, and I'm not the type of person to have my big old head while the video's playing. So I say, watch this 10-second clip or 20-second clip, and I'll show the video, and then I'll give my take after.
Right.
Most of the videos that I got the most traction, views, and comments are all negative. It's about either violence or cheating. The sad part is when I try to push the positive route in the nuclear family and hold men accountable, it doesn't go as viral. But the moment I talk about a woman, all hell breaks loose. Everybody looks at, oh, you're misogynistic, you hate women, go date men then.
Right.
Like they all say that. So my main thing is I talk about the negative to get the attention, and then I push the positive.
Right.
Because my main thing is for both individuals to do better. I don't pander to men or women.
Right.
Because men do a lot of dumb shit.
Yeah, we do.
Women do a lot more dumb shit because
they have safety nets.
Yeah. A lot of men who want to smash are going to tell them, oh, don't worry about that. You're still good in my eyes.
Yeah.
White knighting.
Right.
And all that. Me, I'm like, nah. I want to put an end to it, because just because I get behind the camera and talk doesn't mean I don't mess up too.
Right.
And I want people to know that from now. I have issues in my life, sometimes with women and stuff like that, family members, where sometimes I could get out of character.
Right.
But most of the time when I talk, I reflect before I speak on a situation that I've been in.
Right.
Or I've spoke to other men about the same situation. But the main thing that goes is the cheating. And interesting conversations will most likely be from women.
Yeah.
Never. If from a man, I can't say never, but the woman will always say, oh, well, if men can cheat, why can't I cheat? And I'll tell them, it's a part of your biology. Deep down, you don't want to have multiple men.
But you got to give a context of cheating. And this is where I think people get things messed up. You have to put context and framework around certain things that you say.
Yeah.
Right? Because you mentioned cheating in biology. Right? But how you cheat is as equally as important to the act of cheating.
Yes.
And what do I mean by that? Men, we reason with cheating a little differently than women do.
More physical.
Right. It's more of a physicality thing, and it's more of a bodily design thing. In other words, when we cheat, it's because we have a certain level of testosterone that produces a certain level of sperm, and we physically are designed
to release it
and to populate the earth. Right? When we cheat as men is when we take our resources and apply it to said person that we're cheating with.
Taking care of somebody else.
Right. Now, on the flip side, from my vantage point, women do it from a emotional standpoint, but sometimes it's physical too.
Yeah.
But it's more likely to be an emotional attachment to who their cheating partner is. And that, when you approach it that way, it makes it harder for a woman to detach who she's cheating with than a man. Now, don't get me wrong. So what do I mean by that? Let's go into men patronizing prostitutes. You go, you deal with the prostitute, it's a transaction, right? But if you continue with said prostitute, you build a bond with prostitute.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Women, they go and it's emotional.
Yeah. It's a deeper bond.
It's a deeper bond.
Yeah.
And it's harder to cut off. What do you think?
I think you're 100% right. You hit the nail on the head, because when I was diving in more into psychology and seeing the different dynamics between men and women, which attract one to the other, and it basically said men are attracted to youth, beauty, and fertility. The younger the woman is, I'm not talking about no minor, so don't get no.
We don't say those words. We don't say the P words here.
Yeah, none of that over the top freaky stuff.
Yeah.
But a woman who's of age, of course, in society, we typically want younger because they can reproduce.
Right.
And from back then too, if you think about it, the reason why men valued virginity so much, the purity, which is in a lot of religious texts, is because modern day science now made it easier for women to be more promiscuous.
Yeah.
Because they could just be like, I'm gonna go take a DNA test to see if this kid is really his.
Right.
I could go on a Maury show.
Right.
Back then they couldn't do that.
Right.
It's more so no hymen, no diamond.
Right.
Your father would give his daughter to the next man, and he would know, like, yeah, she ain't play around in the streets.
Right.
She's good. That kid will be yours.
Right.
Because if you think we're from an animalistic nature, if we find out that kid is not ours, we want to kill that child.
Yeah.
Because I'll say this is the number one thing to all the women who are out there who are trifling. The number one thing you could do to a man is tell him you're pregnant, tell him it's his, and later on he finds out it's not after he built the bond.
You know, let's kind of build on that a little bit more, because I think now, because of the advent of social media and, you know, these conversations that now men have been more vocal about their experiences on these platforms, I think that it is really shocking on how much this actually takes place.
Yeah.
And let me just say this, from a human perspective, that level of deceit and lying is truly demonic.
Yeah.
It's truly demonic, because for you, like, I'll give a case in point. They just had that situation with Doug Christie, Chris Webber. These guys are basketball teammates. And Chris Webber played basketball with this man for 10 years, was in the locker room with this, and Chris Webber got Doug Christie's wife pregnant.
What?
And they both conspired to keep this under wraps until the girl was 20 years old, to the point where Chris Webber would come to the house knowing that that was his daughter and would treat her like a niece. He's as equally as wrong. But let's bring it down to the woman. She had every single chance before the situation even came to be to tell this man what it was. And yes, she did. And so now Doug Christie finds out and he sues both of them.
That's cold.
And I feel that needs to take place more.
I think, no, I'm not gonna say I think. DNA test should be mandatory.
At birth.
At birth. I don't care how much you feel like you trust your woman, because once the woman's pregnant, she knows that's her kid.
Right.
We're literally rolling dice.
Facts.
Because nowadays a lot of women say, yeah, I'm a virgin, or I only had 5 bodies, or this, that, and the third. And they lie about their body count because they know it's disgusting if they have a high body count.
Right.
And we're taking a risk.
Big time.
So it's messed up for us.
I think men, when dealing with women, need to stop this whole facade of I can endure and be tough because I'm a man.
No.
Because your manhood is not defined by how much stupidity you can take from a woman.
That's true. Stop simping.
It stops simping. Like, it is so disgusting. It is so disgusting. I've seen high levels of simpery. I've seen people who have simped for certain family members, and I just be like, you don't even know.
You know why we're like this now with the whole simp epidemic?
Yeah.
Strong men make easy times. Easy time make weak men.
Yep.
Weak men make hard times.
Yep.
What generation are we in right now?
The hardest of times.
Yeah. So, and it's more flamboyant now with the simp era, is because it's social media. It's like a lot of dudes, especially, believe it or not, it's a lot of dudes with money, the scammer dudes. They'll flaunt their money. They'll see the girl. Oh, what can I pay? Let me get you your nails done. Let me get your hair done and stuff like that. Mind you, this girl has a boyfriend at home, but he's a regular 9-to-5 worker, trying to bust his ass and get out the mud, and she's over there getting tricked on. But a lot of these girls, when they take the money from the dude and they end up smashing the dude, they're like, I ain't a hoe. Well, he's a trick. What are you?
Okay, so we have to really again put the context on certain things, right?
Mhm.
It's not just the scammer dudes,
Mhm.
right?
That's from what I've seen. That's
Right.
what I can speak about.
And let's put it into context of what a simp is. A simp is when you go against yourself
You want me to put the real word in
to
there?
please a woman.
Sucker, idolizing, mediocre pussy.
Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. That's a good one. I didn't know that meant.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
You know, that's fun. That decode dating, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
I had
sir.
no idea that's what that meant. All right. I just thought simp means like simpleton.
Yeah.
And the definition of simpleton is like a stupid person.
Yeah.
Right? So like the guys who who may have had disposable income to purchase these things or pull women into situations where, you know, they spend money, those to me are tricks.
Yes.
I don't put tricks and simps in the same bag.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Because here's the definition of a simp. A simp is doing all of those things from a woman and he ain't got the money.
In return, yeah.
And he's getting nothing in return.
Yeah.
A trick is getting something in return and he has the money. And 9 times out of the 10, if he's tricking on that one, he's not just tricking on that one. He's got another one that he's tricking on.
You know what it is?
A simp is stuck on one.
I'll say this. You're 100% right. But there's categories to simping.
Yeah.
You can still simp with a lot of money.
Yeah.
And still get something in return. But that girl will never take you serious. So, like, say if you're doing it to get something out of her and you say, oh, I really like her and I'm going to just flood her with a whole bunch of money.
Yeah.
Because I want to basically purchase her. You're still simping because that's not a genuine connection.
Can I ask you a question? Is this so important for you to be respected or for you to be taken serious in a relationship from a woman?
Respected.
Right.
100%.
Because you just said something and it just flashed in my head. If a woman takes me serious, that means that she wants to extract some resources.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't like that too much.
Me neither.
Don't take me too serious. I've gotten more cooperation from non-committal.
Yes.
Than I have from committing.
Because they're chasing the validation.
Right. And that's the wild part.
Yeah.
Talk about that from a psychological and a biological perspective. Why is it like that?
Psychological, because the woman wants the alpha male.
Right.
So she wants the best guy to procreate with. Because back then, if you think about it, before we had all this modern day stuff, we were fighting wars. So they would go with the guy who's the toughest, who knew he's the boss around the town.
Right.
So she can make sure she's well taken care of.
Right.
Nowadays, a lot of men don't understand their value. So it's easy for them to get fooled and deceived by a woman because her beauty.
Right.
So men have to understand, like, you need respect from the woman for her to be like, yo, this guy is everything to me. And I'm not gonna come in and just restrict. I'm a add stuff, like basically what you bring to the table.
Right.
Type. And a lot of women, I would say, especially being in the dating market, they don't want to bring anything. They just want to take. Like, you'll set up the table, they'll be like, all right, cool, give me that, give me that, give me that. Okay, I'm on to the next guy. Yeah. So you got to make them work for it, in a sense. A lot of dudes are not doing that.
What do you... So you mentioned the term alpha. Have you ever heard of the term of a sigma male?
Yeah.
What do you know about it?
Not too much, as far as that they're like more of like... Because I'll name it from a pill, like a black pill type of dude.
Right.
They're just going their own way. That's the best way to say it.
Right.
Like,
so they don't necessarily... And here's my understanding. Like a sigma male versus a beta male. Right? If you had to break it down, and I'm trying to find and identify what a sigma would be.
Sigma would be like, so the best example is like the high school Chad dude, like the chip on his shoulder.
Well, I'll bring it to an animal perspective.
Yeah.
You ready? From my vantage point, I could be wrong. Lions, in the whole concept of alpha or the alpha male and a lion's pride exist. A sigma would be a tiger.
That's a great way to look at it.
And think about it.
Yeah.
Tigers hunt alone.
Yeah.
Sigmas are usually alone.
Yeah. That's why I said like a lone wolf going their own way.
Right.
Yeah.
And tigers are just as ferocious, but you would never know. Would you rather, because the alpha male concept or the terminology has been put in mainstream. I don't know how that happened, but I like to think that the one who really has the maximum control is the Sigma.
Yeah.
Because the alpha is also pretty much dictated by the need and the desire to continue to procreate. The Sigma is very different. They look at procreation as not a need to, whereas the alpha is like, I gotta have 5 kids. I gotta have 10 kids. And that Sigma's like, I'm good with 2. Maybe 3.
Yeah.
Would you rather be a Sigma or an alpha?
In today's age, I'm not gonna lie, I'd rather be alpha.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I'm leaning more towards Sigma.
Yeah.
I could spend a lot of time alone.
Yeah.
I don't need a lot of friends no more. I've led people. I've had a pack of people. Yo, do this. We gonna execute this. I do it now. Sometimes I hate that shit.
But if you're speaking about alpha from an animalistic standpoint, and you would say like, I want to have multiple kids with multiple women. No.
Right.
I don't want to do that.
Right.
I'm a one procreating woman type of guy.
But that's anti-alpha.
That's what I'm saying. So
that's anti-alpha.
I'm split between the two.
Yo, alpha male, that term and trying to live to that could be very dangerous.
Yes. You have to have the resources.
Yeah.
that's definitely, and then you have to have that chip on your shoulder.
Yeah. And there's other things that come with that, right? Because, bring it back to the animal kingdom. Go back to the lion and the tiger, right? The lion procreates with multiple women in the pride.
Yes.
Tigers don't operate like that.
No.
Right? When you look at the responsibility of being an alpha male and having multiple women in these days and age, that's a risky thing.
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't do it in America.
Is alpha male or being an alpha male, is that determined by you being able to have multiple women to dominate?
No.
So what is that? What determines you as an alpha male?
Okay. So I would say in today's age, especially this society, an alpha male is number 1, you have the resources.
Right.
2, you're respected by your peers. 3, you're respected by others. 4, you have the pre-selection traits, I would say.
Right.
Pre-selection is basically one woman sees you and other women want to be around you and other men want to be like you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So those are the main things that you want. And as far as you have a little bit of arrogance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a perfect person to put, but just not the physical appearance because he's not on the height where a lot of women would want him to be is Mayweather.
Okay. So
because he has the resources, he has the fame, he has the status, he's respected by others, he has the pre-selection cues already.
Right.
So it's just the physical attributes. He's not as tall as a lot of women want him to be.
Right.
But I would always say status beats all of that.
But here's the interesting thing.
And he's talented.
He's super talented. But he can't read good.
Yeah.
So
none of that matters to him.
I know it doesn't. And I'm getting to a point. Does the alpha male have to be smart?
No.
And where's the one that's the smart one? Would you say that's the Sigma?
Yes.
And that's why I think the Sigma male is the one that you want to lean towards in this day and age. Because the Sigma male, because I was thinking about this, from what I know about alpha male and Sigmas and stuff like that, I was thinking about this and I was like, yo, the Sigma male don't give a shit. He could just walk away at any moment.
Yeah.
That's power.
Yeah.
The alpha has to dominate.
Yes. We can all ask ChatGPT.
Let's ask ChatGPT.
Yeah. What exactly is a Sigma?
What is a Sigma male?
Yeah.
This is good. And then we're going to pivot. We're going to pivot after this.
What is a Sigma male?
The term Sigma male is part of a social hierarchy.
He sounds like it.
Oh, you can't
My
talk.
fault. Go ahead.
Hold on. What is a Sigma male?
The term Sigma male is often used in social dynamics and pop psychology to describe a man who is independent, self-reliant, and doesn't conform to traditional social hierarchies. Unlike the alpha or beta labels, Sigma males are seen as more of a lone wolf type, not seeking validation from others, and usually thriving on their own terms. It's a bit of a cultural concept rather than a strict psychological classification.
I told you, I be knowing my
Ask
shit.
what is a Sigma male animal? What animal is a Sigma male?
Okay.
I want to know because I think I'm a Sigma male.
Yeah.
I
can
thought
see
I
it.
was alpha.
I can see it.
I'm really a lone wolf.
Yeah.
I,
And you remember I said it to you earlier.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
really a Sigma.
Yeah. Let me ask. What animal would you describe as a Sigma male?
That's a fun question. If we think of the concept of a Sigma male as someone who's independent, self-sufficient, and kind of a lone wolf, then an animal that fits that description might be a leopard. They tend to be solitary. They do their own thing, and they don't really rely on a pack. So, yeah, I'd say a leopard.
Ask if a tiger's a Sigma male. I'm just curious.
Bro, no.
No, that was fine.
A leopard is kind of like a... Look at it.
Yeah. Yo, man, I be knowing certain things around here.
Yeah.
But I thought about that.
Mhm.
Like, and you know, that's attractive to a lot of women too.
Yeah.
Because we have a certain level of, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to seek your validation.
And that's what a lot of people used to tell me, like when I started my Decode dating platform and I started talking controversial talks that a lot of women feel uncomfortable to talk about. They was like, yo, you gonna lose hoes. And I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna lose nothing I never had.
Yo.
I don't care.
That's like saying,
I'm not trying to please them.
that's like saying you're gonna lose a migraine.
Or that's like saying you gonna lose your third leg.
Yeah,
I'm like, I never had a third leg.
You're gonna lose a Charlie horse. You're gonna lose a
like-
pain in your side. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let me ask you. You had some controversial stuff going on.
Yeah.
On your platform.
Mhm.
You had a young lady. And I was bear witness, and I'm gonna be politically correct.
Mhm.
And you told me some things off of camera, which I thought was interesting, and I want to share it. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
So, and I got a chance to see this young lady, and bless her heart. May the Lord be with her and guide her in all the things that the Lord wants to guide her.
Amen.
And you know, bless her child.
Yeah.
Right? She's a mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna be as respectful as possible. But in the same term, I'm gonna be as real as possible.
All right. Let me start up the stove. You need some
All right,
grease?
here we go. All right, this takes tact. I'm not the most good looking person on planet Earth.
Uh-huh.
I accept that. I acknowledge that.
Uh-huh.
But I'm not hurt. You know what I'm saying? I'm not hurt out here. I'm Sigma handsome. With that being said,
Uh-huh.
right? This particular young lady who, bless her heart, once again, she had all the aesthetics. I'm not saying this is what she is, but she had all the context clues of what I know of is what I refer to as what is a booger wolf. Now, we're not gonna ask Chat GPT
what a Boogerwolf
what a
is.
booger wolf is. You're gonna ask Rell GPT what a booger wolf is, okay? Do you want to know what a booger wolf is?
What is it, bro?
So a booger wolf,
Yeah.
a booger wolf is a combination of two hybrid animals, okay?
Oh my God.
A Shabarankian and a Big Backian. These are two.
Yo, bro. Yo. No, that's jokes.
Okay.
Yo, bro.
And bless her heart, she didn't choose the face. The face chose her.
Yeah.
And she had the you know what's those things that they put on their head? It's like it'd be like fake hairlines.
Yeah, baby
And
hairs.
The baby hairs, but they like attachments now. I didn't even know they sold them in the store.
Each sold
And
separately.
And it's funny because I thought it was like a real part of their hair.
Yeah.
And then I walked past the beauty supply store and I seen the baby hairs in display, and I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
so they buy those and glue them to their forehead.
Yeah.
So we've passed sew-ins and the glue-in hair.
It's just
now
horrible.
it is just to the forehead
Yeah.
to give the illusion of a hairline that is like slick. So we're dealing with a high, and her hair was a distinct color that it wasn't born naturally. So she had, and I believe she had some piercings.
Yeah.
In her face, right? And she was a younger lady.
I forgot how she looked. Hold on.
No, don't put it on the screen.
No, I'm not going to disrespect
don't
her like that.
don't do that. What
I mean, it's on my social media.
Yeah, right. So okay,
I just gotta get an image, and then I'm like,
yeah. Let me take a look at it one more time, just so I can make sure we're looking at the right person, because I could be wrong. I'm getting old.
oh yeah.
Okay. So, all right. Let me just rephrase it. She's not a Boogerwolfian. She's not.
Nah,
she's up there though.
I'm gonna tell you why. She got the hair hat on.
Nah, she can smell what the Rock is cooking. Like,
Yo, bro, what?
Nah, because she's just, you know.
Yeah.
And then I'm watching this and there's no audio to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see her facial expressions even more.
Mm-hmm.
And she's very handsome.
Yo, bro.
She has defined bone structure.
Yeah.
In her nose area. The softness in her face is gone.
Yeah.
And
she doesn't have feminine features.
Right. So that's of a Boogerwolf. Core quality. It's like the femininity is gone. They have literally traded in that femininity, that essence, that softness, and it just leaves their face, and then Shaba appears in their face. So you had a little spat.
Yo, bro.
You had a spat.
He said Shaba just
Yeah, you had a little internet debacle from this person.
Yes.
And now this person proceeded to
I'm gonna explain how it happened. Yeah.
Tell the story.
Usually when I find content to make on Decode Dating, I'm scrolling through my news feed or For You page, whatever you want to call it. And I so happened to come across her page, and she was talking about not having your baby father sign the birth papers or something.
So she's a content creator.
Yes, but she says outlandish shit to pander to women.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Continue.
Yeah. So, yeah, I listened to the story in its whole entirety, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Right.
And I'll say, see, this is the problem. So I went on her page, and I seen how much following she had. I'm like, yeah, she just spreading poison everywhere to the black community.
Right.
It's mainly black women who follow her.
Right.
So I stepped in and I said something about I forgot what I said. Let me clarify.
Bring it back.
Yeah, I think I said something about. Hold on. Let me skip a little bit.
Because this was interesting.
What the hell? Sorry, guys. All right, so I said something about how you. Right. Okay, yeah. I said, but then you get pregnant by him. Accountability is women's kryptonite. So if you know what kryptonite is, Google it. Has to do with Superman. So I'm basically telling her, like, you get pregnant by a dude. You don't want him to sign the birth papers.
So wait, she was putting her personal story.
Yes.
It wasn't like
that's why I tell
anecdotal.
That's why I tell a lot of people don't do it. And if you're going to do it, get ready for the repercussions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So she did that, and I said, but then you get pregnant by him. Accountability is women's kryptonite. I got a few likes on it, but it's her platform. So, of course, more people are going to like her stuff.
Okay.
So then.
Here we go.
Stuff got ugly.
Wait, let me just give it context. Boogerwolfians move in packs.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to front. There was some other attractive women that were in her comments backing her.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm like, you're beautiful. You're going to make this woman affect you and become a Boogerwolf.
You see how it's like you ever watch The Matrix? Like when Agent Smith touches like the Boogerwolf is Agent Smith.
Yes.
So it could just be a regular old female. And then she just goes,
touch.
Boogerwolf. And then
transform.
Like the whole black goo.
Yeah.
That's their blood. Like it's in there. And Boogerwolf doesn't just necessarily mean exterior.
Yeah, interior.
Interior.
Yeah.
It's the interior that makes them manifest into
Ugliness.
a Boogerwolf. Because I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure her baby pictures were pretty.
Yes.
But as life took her down the road that it took her to,
She caused it on herself.
she transformed.
Yeah.
Continue.
So she said, definitely a black thing. And I keep telling black women, it's a stereotype for a reason. I took accountability that day. I chose to take care of my daughter alone.
Uh-oh.
I feel like under my shit because we talk about the same things, so you trying to humble me. Get your sassy gossiping ass on. Niggas could never stay on topic. I thought I did. Then I responded, how you calling me sassy but complaining about the situation you made? You ain't married before you carried, and you mad at an ain't shit nigga being something you knew he was. Women like you like to shift the narrative when they wrong. How you gonna try and dog a nigga and let him nut in you?
Let me just stop you right there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that was way too intelligent.
I use logic.
Why'd you do that?
I tried something.
You really, boy, your thumbs was just no.
Because I really thought about it strategically, and I said to myself, if I'm gonna reply, I'm not gonna attack her personally because that's unlimited attacks.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make myself stoop to her level.
Yeah,
shorty, I'm up here with it.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna set the record straight and say, how you calling me sassy and gossiping? First thing, you put your information on the platform, so it's free for anybody to talk about.
It's public domain.
Exactly, free use.
Yeah.
And then I explained to her, I said, you knew the nigga wasn't shit. You didn't marry before you carried. You decided to let the nigga hit it raw and then complain about an ain't shit nigga being ain't shit.
So,
but y'all made something beautiful out of it, but you chose to be a single mom because you feel like that's better. Make it make sense.
So, okay. So many things to unpack.
Yeah.
Where do you want me to start?
Well, I'll finish.
Yeah.
Continue. So after that, she responded, but it's long-winded. I'll just basically say she called me gay, sassy, my mom, something about my mom, hairline receiving. Like that really mattered, but she's wearing a hair hat. Broke. And all this other stuff. And then I said one more thing, and other girls came to her defense, and I basically said, this is perfect content for me. So I made a video.
Yeah.
I said it respectfully, and I just said, you failed because you became a single mom. So a lot of women try to make themselves the victim in a situation they have fully control over. Just like a guy, if he marries a hoe and she cheats on him, you're an idiot. Just like a woman opening her legs to a dude who ain't shit and you get pregnant, you're an idiot and a single mom. And then she tried to shift the goalpost and made it seem like, oh, I'm attacking her and single mothers are good. You get in a relationship and get pregnant hoping y'all stay together, but when it doesn't work, he's at fault automatically.
Okay.
And then it just went on. I made that video. She came on my page, said a whole bunch of stuff. I think you commented also.
Yeah, I did.
And then it went on to a big thing. And then she made another post about me. Well, kind of about me. Tagged me in it. I wrote something in the DMs. She said I'm ugly and gay. I need to come out the closet. It's Pride Month. And then I sent her a picture of Shorty. And then she said she's ugly anyway. And I just laughed and then left it alone.
Okay. This is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna go cerebral on this.
Go ahead.
On the Rell Gato.
It went on for like 2 days.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
How was your view count, by the way?
Oh yeah, that video went up. I put it on TikTok also.
Yes.
View count went up on that. Likes went up. A lot of people laughed. Yeah, she just looks hella dumb doing that. And I didn't call her ugly, anything. I didn't attack her personally. I don't even know her personally. Yeah. Yeah, she just cooked herself.
Okay. So let's really dial this back.
Yeah.
Let's really dial this back. And let's really because there's a lot to unpack here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's deal with this whole concept of marry before you carry. I've heard that before, right?
Yes.
It's interesting when people say that. Mm-hmm. But being married doesn't necessarily mean that you won't end up as a single mother.
Of course not.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, especially in this day and age, I think the terminology should be changed.
Yeah.
I think as men, we have to be safer now.
Mm-hmm. A lot of men don't want to do it.
And this is the tough part about where we got to take responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Marry before you carry, when it applies to a woman, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really, to me, it doesn't really have weight because women don't propose to themselves.
Yeah, they don't.
So this is where I may get some slack. I don't believe in marry before you carry. I don't believe in it. I think that men need to reevaluate. And as a man, we have to understand that we have the power.
Of course. 100%.
On what type of female we're dealing with. Right? Women don't propose to themselves.
No.
So a woman is a human being. She wants to have sex just like a male, sometimes more. I think men need to reverse engineer this whole saying. And I'm thinking of a rhyme right now.
You don't have to think about it. No
Let's hear
hymen,
it.
no diamond.
No hymen, no diamond.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
No hymen,
No diamond.
no diamond. Because if a man marries a woman
Gotta be a virgin.
and has to call her the wife, if we're talking on a terminology, that means that that woman has been untampered with.
Yes.
Most women may not want to hear this, but a lot of women think they're eligible for wifing when they're only eligible for concubining.
Yes.
Now, concubines play a role. Make no mistake about it.
Of course.
Just like wives play a role. But it's when one person thinks that they're eligible for something that they're not. Like, I have good credit. But am I Lamborghini Urus credit? No. I'm not. Can I get a Tahoe? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Low interest rate.
Low if we can. So you got to know where you're supposed to go. Marry before you carry should apply to men more. And watch this. We don't carry the baby, but we carry the seed.
You carry life.
We carry life. So my concept and my mindset now is if I can't see myself marrying that woman, then what I carry shouldn't be put in her.
Of course not.
And that's the tough part.
I would say this too, and I'll add to that.
In this day and age.
Yes.
Because of where things are at now.
Yeah.
Because it's too risky. You see men losing entire empires because they have no sexual discipline.
Yes. Yes.
You see men, before they can even become men, lose the potential for greatness because they impregnated the wrong female.
I tell men, this is my first time saying this.
Let's hear it.
Bury your dick
In the dirt.
in the dirt. Do not take your dick and put it in the wrong bitch. I'll tell you that for a fact. Now, I have a video on my YouTube about my process of basically vetting the woman.
We're going to get to that. I like that one.
And vetting is very important. But the main reason why I tell women, because I don't pander to both sides. I hold men accountable, women accountable, and of course myself.
Right.
Woman's reassurance comes from the man's commitment as far as today's society, marriage. Now, I'm not the type of person, I'll tell you this for a fact, I'm not getting married through no damn government. The government don't care about both of us. They only want the taxes, and I'm good. Now, we could...
That boy rapping.
But what I would do is get married under God, spiritually.
Amen.
Now, we become equally yoked. Don't mean we're equal, but just we become one flesh. And I'll do it like that. Now, what I would do, especially that I vetted a woman, don't get me wrong, women can play the long game, but now I'm playing the longer game. Now, you're not going to get money because we're not legally tied, but I'll make sure if I ever was supposed to fuck up in a relationship or ill treat you, that trust will be in place,
Right.
where my our children, I wouldn't say mine, our children to take care of,
Right.
and you.
Right.
Because if you're going to pray the trad wife, traditional wife, stay at home, cook, clean, and all of that, and I'm making the money, of course it's going to be hard if I decide to leave you. You can't take care of yourself. So I'll make sure stuff is set up in place. Now, that's the teamwork that I would like in the household. But a lot of women nowadays, they're celebrating single motherhood, and that's stupid. They're having baby showers by themselves when the baby father's not there. They're telling all women you don't need a man to take care of the baby, but you made the baby with a man, which makes no sense. Government assistance is helping. You got food stamp, you got WIC. They got other stuff like the lottery where you could sign up for the shelter that pushes the masculine presence out the house, which is the father. Now, the women are hard. Well, they're softer on trying to raise the child. You don't have the masculine presence, so it's easy for the child to get manipulated because you're going to coddle the child all day long.
Right.
Then the child's going to go to school, listen to Poison, listen to this LGBT community crap.
Yeah.
And then the child's going to be confused, and then the cycle's going to continue. Majority of inmates that are males that are in jail right now, and you could search this, are raised by single mothers.
90%.
The Columbine shooters, single mothers, majority of them. Most of the degenerate shit that happens in the black community are single mothers. Black women and black single mothers are the reason why society is crumbling. We can hold men accountable all we want, but why the fuck are you open your legs to the nigga if you know he ain't shit?
It's very simple. You ready for this?
I'm listening.
Because nobody wants to live by how God created us to live.
Come on now.
Not us, not men,
Come
not
on.
women.
Everybody want to do their own thing.
And that's why
There's no structure.
we reap what we sow.
Yeah.
There's no, listen, if we are the domineering force of society, then we created this framework for them to even continue the nonsense. We're just as equally guilty.
And that's why I say I hold men accountable, because at the end of the day, men allowed most of this shit to happen.
Yep.
But I'm going to tell you why. Because the government is smart. Like I said, the government don't care about us. The government put women in position to go on the workforce and work. You know why? They wanted to tax double.
There's a scripture that says we do not wrestle with flesh and blood. We wrestle with spirits and principalities in high places. Key words is principalities in high places. So that means governance or government. So what you're referring to is a system that is spiritually corrupt. And this system governs man. And see, this is what I like to really emphasize on, so that there's some substance from the conversation. And it goes back to what we were saying on that episode where you had me up there before. And I was talking to the young lady.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, the problem is when both parties do things without the way God designed us to do it, we're bound for failure. And this is what we're experiencing now. Relationships, as far as what I am concerned, in my perspective, mean absolutely nothing.
Yes.
And let me tell you why. Because relationships are self-serving. The only time it means something is when the principles of God is the buffer between said parties. That's what I mean by that. You my bro. Why are you my brother? Why do I look at you as a brother? It's because I'm a follower of God. I'm commanded first to look at you as my brother and to look at you and see myself. If I wasn't commanded by that and serving that higher purpose, yeah, I could call you my brother. But there's always going to be some weird alternative motive in the background.
Yeah.
And if I'm not careful, my mind would play tricks on me. And if you start getting more than what I have, then I start looking at you crazy. That's why brothers or bros or gangs always fall apart.
Yeah.
And it's always from the inside out. It's because God is not involved.
Yeah.
Take relationships. Go with man and female relationships now. Go back to the scripture. It says, I will put enmity between both of y'all, meaning there will be tension between both of y'all. The only way that that tension is released or relieved is when both parties are not trying to live to fulfill each other, but trying to live in obedience to God. Now, most women, black women, run around here saying that they're Christian. But then when you start breaking down the Bible to them, the very book that they claim that they read, and it says, I suffer a woman not to teach.
They trying to teach.
They don't like that too much. Nah. For it was the woman that was deceived first. Well, I don't. Okay, well, which one is it? And see, in the same thing as with men, we're required to not be adulterous men.
Yeah.
But nobody want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nah, I'm made to be with one woman, multiple women. Yeah, I know you're made to be that, but what is the consequences of that?
Mm-hmm.
You ain't King Solomon. You ain't rich. You can't take care of all them babies.
Mm-hmm.
Look, they had the thing with Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon don't even know the name of all his kids. That's wild.
Yeah.
Shame on him.
Mm-hmm.
Shame on him.
Mm-hmm.
But they know your name, but you don't know. So both parties are guilty. Now, what I could say, for real,
it's more on the woman though.
now it is.
Yeah, because they know the type of nigga he
It's
is.
been more on the woman. Now it's being more exposed.
Yeah,
and
that's,
so
they hate
being that it's exposed, it's up for the men to now correct it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're doing with the conversation. See, when I see decode dating, I don't see you talking to women of today's time. I see you talking to your elder self, to your younger self.
Yeah.
So you can give warning
to the younger dudes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about on one of your episodes the word that you basically used was vetting.
Yes.
Right? Go into that a little bit.
So, I don't want any man to think that I knew this from the beginning, because I didn't have my father growing up. Mother was a single mom and stuff like that. And I grew up very soft and coddled. I mainly grew up, like, don't get me wrong, the mom, and my mom is West Indian, she's Jamaican. So she wanted that, you know, happy wife, happy life mentality. And she wouldn't care too much about what woman I had as long as she was going to respect me. But at the same time, a lot of people don't realize that you can't have outside people tell you how to run your relationship. Right. And that's what I used to do.
Right.
You, as a man, have to have discernment, and you have to vet. Now, the best way to vet a woman is don't listen to what she says, watch what she does.
Right.
So it took me a while. I can say after my last heartbreak when I was 28, I'm 32 now, so 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah, about to be 5. I'm about to be 33. God willing. I came to a realization that take your time. Once you see certain signs, and sometimes you'll speak only once as a man, especially if you're dating a woman. Mm-hmm. You speak only once. Now, if she respects you enough, because how you carry yourself, she's not going to do what you told her not to do.
Yeah.
She's going to always make sure, I value this man so much, I'm going to make sure I'm up to par, crossing my T's and dotting my I's. Mm-hmm. And what you want to do as a man is you want to play the long game, because a lot of women will wait. As soon as you give them the commitment too early, they start showing their true colors. Mm-hmm. So you want to stall it. It's like a ball of yarn. You give it to the cat, and you have it on the string, and you check it a little bit, and you stop, and then you shift it somewhere else, and the cat will follow. Or a laser, same thing. You know what I'm saying? You want to keep them intrigued, and you want to kind of play around with it. Mm-hmm. But you want to test them for a while to see if they're up to the same level frequency of being a good wife and being a good mother.
And this is during the dating stage.
This is during the dating stage, because at the end of the day, as a man, you should focus on yourself, but also date multiple women, because some of them are going to fall by the wayside. And I'm not saying dating where you're smashing all of them, because then you're just mixing yourself up in a whole bunch
soul
of bullshit.
ties.
Yeah, a whole bunch of bullshit going on.
Dating meaning collecting data.
Yeah. That's a great word.
I got that from my bro, LaShawn. A shout out to What's a Good Guy.
So, because now you're seeing, because if you're a man and you're a man of substance and you say, hey, I want a wife and stuff like that, I don't want to be smashing a whole bunch of hoes, you really have to take your time now. It's just like we was talking earlier, business deal. You want to make sure, like, anything, like a job, they come with the resume. The resume, they could fabricate that shit.
Absolutely.
Now you got to be like, I'm going to put you on probation period, 6 months. You're going to do the same thing with a woman, but a year. Yeah. And now you're taking around your friends. You're making sure she ain't smashing into the bros. Yeah. Bring around your mom. You could take her to the club. If she says, I'm not drinking, I'm not out, perfect. Right. Now you see what type of woman she is. Right. So I want men to understand that vetting is very important. I want them to see that the difference. If you jump in a relationship too early and the girl doesn't appreciate the time, because a lot of people say if you worked for $100,000 and somebody gave it to you, it feels good to be given to you, but you value the $100,000 more because you have to work for it. Yeah. Now you don't want to spend it too crazy. The $100,000 is given to you, like, I'm about to buy a car and
because it was given.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, when a woman puts in her time and invest, now it's hard for her to break that because she's like, damn, I really value this relationship. Now, a man simping and just jumping right in the relationship, like, I love her and I'm gonna give her everything she wants. She's gonna walk all over the dude.
Right.
So always take your time, vet. Once you see a red flag, you address it, and if it doesn't change, get up out of there. Because they're not gonna change for you. They gotta change for themselves.
You know what's so crazy? Like, I'm listening,
Mm-hmm.
and as I'm listening to you, I'm really getting an understanding on who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I realize, like, I'm a Sigma.
Yeah.
Because that's too much work for me. I'm already like,
Yeah.
what makes you worth me doing all of that?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know what? Fine. You know what's so crazy?
That's why some men build himself. So
That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
See, I'm very, especially since I got older,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, very conscious of my time now.
Yes.
I'm not bringing you around my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't bringing you around my kid. I ain't bringing you around none of that.
Mhm.
Because the way that I see it
Mhm.
is because I've had kids with one woman, I'm always tied to her,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
For me to bring you around my kids, you can't be considered as a girlfriend or a relationship. You have to already be my wife.
Yeah.
Because other than that, I'm not going to even play no mental games with myself to think that we're girlfriend and boyfriend, because that means nothing.
It doesn't.
People renege on their word all the time. So I don't even call me yours. I don't belong to you.
Yeah, my man.
Yeah, my man, or yo, that's my girl. I'm not even setting myself up for that kind of failure because I know you're going to mess up.
Yeah.
And you ain't going to embarrass me out here.
Yeah.
They ain't going to be like, yo, Rell, I seen your girl. Do we got kids together? I don't care if you seen me with her and I told you, yo, man, I love this girl.
Mm. Yeah.
If I ain't say it's mine, I ain't claiming it. Hey, she's a free person.
But now that you mentioned that,
Yeah.
Look how a man's reputation can get ruined by a woman doing some goofy shit while she has his name. Look at Will Smith. We all know him before as
He's getting a divorce from what I was seeing in the tabloids. I pray he does, because man,
He
oh
needs-
man,
yeah.
that bald-headed demon is nothing to
bro,
play with.
She's
She
evil, bro.
is a master manipulator. She
Evil.
got the man on the table, sat there, and played mental gymnastics with this man.
Entanglement. my ass.
And went viral. And you watch a man's soul just leave his
He
body.
looked dead, bro.
He looked dead. He putting out rap songs now. I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
That's a man. I don't care how corny them rap songs are, Will Smith. Keep rapping them corny raps, Will.
Yeah.
Because
he's
I
getting back to himself.
He's getting back to himself.
Yeah, that's true.
He's getting back to what makes him happy.
Mm.
That's why I said I can't pour that much stock into a woman no more. Like, I get it, vetting. Yeah, I like the company of women. I do. Love them. But once they start talking too much, I'm like, you can just shut the hell up. Like,
Bro.
you ain't that good.
They specialize in yapology.
Yo, it's like, yo, bro, like, quiet is a thing.
Yeah.
I like silence. I don't need to be talking all
They
the
say
time.
the 3 S's: sex, silence, and sandwiches.
And sandwich. Emphasis on the sandwich.
Yeah.
So, and mind you, I can't speak now because I'm laid up right now. I got the kids and the lady, but I think about, even, let's just say, God forbid we don't work out. And I got to go back into the market. Or whatever the hell this is, because this ain't even a marketplace no more.
It's a cesspool of doodoo.
Yeah, it's a dookie pool. It's a Boogerwolf fest.
I just want to say.
It's a festivity of Boogerwolves. Boogerwolfies out here. I got to get a, woo! That's what I'm going to get up and get a book. But I don't see myself putting that much energy or care into it. Because I'm going to automatically, like, it don't take too much for me to vet a woman now. Because the telltale signs are so blaring. It ain't even discreet no more. Look, here's a red flag for me. You on social media.
Yo, you know what's funny?
You want to hear some more red flags? I got a list.
Go ahead.
Here's another red flag. You ready? It don't take too much. This gonna sound.
I feel like I gotta get this ready.
Get ready, because this is gonna sound crazy. You from New York City?
What part of New York City?
All of them. Here's another one. You ready? You want me to keep flying?
Go ahead.
I'm going to fly some red flags off.
Go ahead.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
This one is going to throw people off, but it is such a red flag that people don't even catch it.
It's not even a red flag. It's a flag full of blood.
Listen, bro, it is so subtle.
Uh-huh.
It is so subtle.
I feel like I'm going to laugh on this.
Right. If you got a Cash App, put the red flag.
They out here panhandling.
Listen. And then you got the other signs, like if you got the Boogerwolfian
Boogerwolfian
bang. If you got the Boogerwolfian bang that you got to paste on your forehead.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, if you wear wigs,
hair hat
hooligans.
Yep, there we go.
Red flag. Flag on the play.
Yeah.
If you got any tattoos, red flag. Red flag it. Now I know what they're going to say. Oh, you got tattoos.
These
That's
are scars.
the point. I'm a dude. I got battle scars.
Yeah.
Every tat going to tell you a story of what I've been through.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got a couple tattoos, you done been through too much. And I can't deal with you.
That's true.
Here's another one. You ready? If you got a big sister.
Big sister. I got another red flag.
Yeah.
If you're a single mom.
No, we know that. That's easy. That's easy.
If you have an OnlyFans.
Well, that's easy. That's easy. Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna give you another one. This one is another funny one too. You ready for this?
Uh-huh.
And when I say it,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna be like, "Yo, I never thought about it,
Mm-hmm.
but this is 100% right."
Mm-hmm.
If you eat boar's head deli meat,
What the fuck? Wait. What?
if you willing to put
Boy, that deli meat is
cold meat in your body, you got no problem with warm meat.
Yo, bro. Now there's a lot of red flags out there.
A lot of red flags. If you drive any Nissan vehicle
with the squirrel slippers.
and the diamond license plate
Yeah,
highlight
with the steering wheel
and the matching steering wheel,
and the eyelashes on the car.
that's easy. Listen, I had one girl tell me they were called cum catches.
What? Well, that's true. I heard that. But I'm like, for the car, it's crazy. But
Yeah. Oh, nah, for the car,
Yeah.
if you do that, you are high level Boogerwolf status
And an OD bop.
and an OD bop ski, and you're a lash technician.
Dead ass, bro. Dead ass.
I got more. You want me to go?
Keep going.
All right.
Fire them.
Here's another one.
Mm-hmm.
If I go on your Spotify playlist,
Niggas just butterfly.
if I see, I don't care if you got one Meg Thee Stallion snippet, one Cardi B snippet. Yo, I don't care if you don't even have no songs downloaded. There's a picture on Spotify
With Glorilla.
with Glorilla just showing as you open up your feed. Red flag.
Cooked. That's so true, though. That's so true. Mm-hmm.
If you have a problem with Kevin
Samuels.
Mm-hmm. After the man is passed and you disrespected him, red flag.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can keep going.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna leave it with this last one.
Mm-hmm.
And this one right here. I think this one, and I want you to segue into this one.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a female
Mm-hmm.
and you're a woman out here and you have more than 2 female friends, red flag.
Yes. That's true.
There's an old saying, birds of a feather flock
Like
together.
Mm-hmm.
If you part of a flock, red flag.
Birds of a bop to
Bop together.
Boogerwolves.
Boogerwolves.
Yo, Boogerwolves, I feel like the noise they make is just bop.
Nah, they travel in packs, so they just go like hyena and a wolf combination.
And they just be bopping.
Yeah, and they bark.
Nigga said they bark.
But when they bark, it's like a Scooby-Doo, like, Ruggy? Like, so when she was coming at you, that's Boogerwolf language.
It was so emotional.
I think she got hair on her chest.
Probably. You know what's funny too? What a lot of women do, they always try to attack the man by saying he's broke.
Or gay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because they be having gay friends.
Like,
Yeah.
and they try to say it like, okay, let me be non-controversial. There's nothing wrong with being gay. I don't like the lifestyle, but keep that shit over there.
Yeah.
But a lot of women love having gay men as friends, but tell another
A lot
dude.
of them bop around with them too.
Yeah, look, and they like to tell men that, oh, come out the closet already or go date men. Like that's a bad thing if you have a gay friend.
Well, they say it to a heterosexual male.
Because they know it's going to offend them.
Because they know.
So they know gayness is not right.
Right. And that's the hypocrisy.
They're just hypocrites.
Well, you got to understand, bro. Like, this is something that I've learned just in my experience of life.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just with all women. And this applies to them a lot. This may be very profound, what I'm about to say. But you have to come to understand that what they say is completely irrelevant.
Yes.
It is only relevant if you allow it.
Mm-hmm.
I love my lady.
Mm-hmm.
Could I live without her? Absolutely, I've had.
Yeah.
80% of what she says, I ignore. I respond to like 3 things.
Yeah.
What she's cooking, what the kids need, and if somebody is bothering her. Now, let me break it down. What she's cooking is priority. Because if you're not bringing no food to the table, then what
are you there for?
Right. The kids, okay, super important. But that last one, somebody did something. I used to be like, oh, somebody did something to my lady, I'm kill mode. I don't even do that no more. I'll be like, well, what the hell did you do?
Mm-hmm. You got to clarify first.
Let me ask you a question. We didn't talk about this too much the last episode, but the Diddy trial is ending. And I like talking about the Diddy trial because I think it has so many human dynamics. So many different things that took place.
I made a video on that and that shit went viral too.
Right. You are literally watching a man's life on the line by what a woman has said, which is Cassie, their star defendant, a star witness, right? My question to you is, when you looking at the grand scheme of things, is relationships with women, relationships, not sexual, because sexual, we need that. That's a need. That's a biological need.
Of course.
But as a male, are intimate relationships and what I mean by intimacy is like sharing certain things with women, looking at a woman as your partner in life, looking at her as your confidant, somebody you can confide in. Is that safe nowadays? Because look at Diddy and Cassie.
No.
That's like 18 years, 12 years they was together.
Oh, they was fucking each other for a long time.
So imagine the pillow talk after a session.
A freak off.
After an oily freak off.
Slip and slide.
Could you imagine like what he's confided in this female?
Yeah.
Is it really worth it nowadays?
No. But I'm going to tell you the worst part about all of that transpired, right? Now, do I think he's wrong for doing the freak offs? No, he's just a freaky nigga.
Nah, he was bugging out. Yeah. He's wrong. I ain't gonna lie.
No, the reason why is because a lot of people do stuff behind closed doors with people. To each their own.
Hey, this nigga is wrong in all accords, bro. I'm so sorry. No.
Is he wrong doing it as a... Well, I think he's just gay.
Well, that is...
Or bisexual, whatever you want to call it.
I think he's wrong on so many levels because you have taken the act of sex and perverted it so crazy to the point where you're rubbing another man's fluids on you. Like, where do we?
Draw the
No,
line. Yeah.
that's wrong.
But he had the money, he had the status behind him. So any person who's into the industry like that wants that because he could open so many doors for people. And that's the sad part. But the only thing I'd say he's wrong for is if he did sex traffic any young girls, that's horrible.
Well, they didn't say he did that.
Yeah.
That wasn't disclosed. So we dealing strictly with the case.
Yeah. So with that now is putting his hands on Cassidy. I say he's wrong. 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that video, like
but he's not being tried for that.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's the only thing he's wrong for.
Okay.
That's the only thing.
So
everything else, and I hate when women don't see that. There's a lot of women I say, would you do half the stuff Cassidy did with Diddy? They said no.
They would.
So they say no.
Yeah.
This is what they say.
No.
And then
they do it with a nigga named Demetrius.
and then I asked them.
Diddy.
I asked them why though, and then they were like, "Oh, because that's nasty." I said, "But you're praising her and saying her husband, oh, she was a victim, and her husband, the strong man, for staying by her side." No, the husband is a cuck, and he's only staying because I think he's a smart cuck to get paid, because he probably told Cassie to sue this man to get a whole bunch of millions of dollars because she got $20 million from Diddy and $10 million for the hotel.
That's a lot of cheese.
That's $30 million.
That's a lot of cheese.
Yes, and he had to pay the lawyer fees, so she kept most of that money.
That's a lot of cheese.
And then a lot of women are praising that, but I'm like, half the stuff she did, receiving money from this guy, you wouldn't want your daughter doing. You wouldn't want your mom doing.
She was a participant.
And you wouldn't even want your son cuffing a hoe.
Yeah.
Women know being a whore is disgusting and bad for society.
Yeah.
But they find a reason to praise that shit, to glorify it and say, oh, get your coin, sis. Like, no.
Yeah.
Because people say, oh, the person buying it is bad. I said, no, the person selling it is even worse.
Yeah.
Because you're selling yourself.
Yeah.
For monetary gain.
Yeah.
Don't you feel soulless? But I can't, look, I don't want to have cognitive dissonance. I don't want to say we don't love hoes. I hate a lying hoe. Like, just tell me you're honest with it.
But that's okay.
Don't say, oh, I'm not a hoe, but behind closed doors doing freak offs.
But Cassie is not the definition of a hoe.
She's not, because
look, a hoe.
She's not plastered as
that.
You
got to put it in context. You have to give context when we say these terms.
Mm-hmm.
A hoe or a prostitute,
yes,
is who they were flying in.
Yes,
those were prostitutes.
Uh-huh.
They sold sex.
Uh-huh.
She
was doing whole shit.
Was doing debaucherous shit. Mm-hmm. But she wasn't a hoe. Mm-hmm. She wasn't selling herself.
She was a slut
for financial gain.
Yeah.
Directly.
Yeah.
Right? She can't. I would say, did she have slutty tendencies? Absolutely. Some will call it she was turned out. Yeah. But she wasn't a hoe.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I think about,
she was a scallywag.
Well, look.
That's the way to put it.
She could be all of the above.
Mm-hmm.
Make no mistake about it. She's still a human being.
Mm-hmm.
She's still somebody's mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to go too crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But what I could say is that once she was introduced to said lifestyle,
mm-hmm. She didn't want to lose it.
She didn't want to lose it.
Mm-hmm.
And that right there is the definition of selling your soul.
Yeah.
And that's what I think she did. Mm-hmm. I think she sold her soul.
Mm-hmm.
And she allowed herself to be manipulated by empty promises and some promises that were fulfilled.
And this is a part of psychology. What I told you before, it's called partial reinforcement.
Right.
Diddy was paying her.
Right.
And now, basically like this. Say if you go to a restaurant and the manager always gives you free food on a Tuesday.
Right.
Every time you're hungry, you would go to that restaurant on a Tuesday expecting the meal.
Right.
But in return, you'll probably mop the floor for him.
Right.
Now he got you where he wants you.
Right.
You'll go on Tuesday. he give you the meal, you mop the floor, you're gonna keep doing that, right?
Yeah.
Now, say you do that for about 3 weeks. You come in and he be like, I don't got a free meal for you today. He be like, all right, no problem, I'll mop the floor.
Yeah.
Now he got you mopping the floor and no free meal.
Yeah.
And that's what Diddy did with her. He gave her $20,000 here, $20,000 there, or you could live in this mansion, drive this car, and she did everything in her power to keep that. And then he cut it off because he's like, I got you where I want. Now she's all making the freak offs.
Right.
She's the sole provider. I'm calling you because I want to please him because I know he's gonna give me more.
Right.
He wasn't giving her that much after that.
He was on to the next.
Yeah. Well, with men, but
yeah,
that's that's crazy, bro.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. This case, if he gets let off, bro, has to be studied for years because this case is so fascinating. You have such a fall from grace in such a deplorable manner, and
his reputation is tarnished when he gets out, though.
I think it's 50-50.
Yeah.
I think if he leans into the lifestyle, as what they keep saying it, I think is gonna actually be swept underneath the rug and celebrated.
I would say if
he's gonna be made like a freak off martyr.
Yeah, but if I was him, I would come out of jail and go off the grid, stay quiet for years.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't think his ego will allow it.
Yeah, I don't think so neither. But I'm just saying.
I think the minute he comes out, let's say he gets let out in a year, white party.
Yeah. He wants to celebrate.
He's got to celebrate, and then now he's gonna be more tactical with the freak off.
So, bro, he was like, if you want to have a freak off, you got to go to space with it.
You got to go and holler at Elon.
Yeah.
And Tesla rocket ship up for the. But you know what? He'll probably pull it off.
Yeah.
Because there's gonna be a willing participant.
Just like Epstein.
It's gonna be a willing participant, and that's the wild part about
a movie you should watch, and I tell everybody too, for those who's watching, watch Blink twice.
I gotta see that. I keep hearing about that movie. I heard it's fire,
bro.
Same concept, billionaire man.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
I didn't see it.
Just watch it.
Okay, I gotta watch it.
I watched it with my shorty like you can say a year ago.
I gotta watch it. Because I like movies like that. I like movies like that. Decode dating, right? We're gonna do a part 3. We're gonna do it on your platform.
Yes.
Any closing remarks, man?
I just want everybody to do better. Try to respect each other. Life is very short, so don't make it shorter by stressing about the small things.
Right.
If you still got air in your lungs and blood in your veins, keep moving on.
Yeah.
And your higher power you believe in, because I know people have different takes. Pray. God will make a way. And yeah, stay blessed.
Yeah. On that note, I think I'm gonna end it on this note too. If you're out in the dating market, man, before you go out on a date, put God first. I know that's hard to say, it's hard to do. But think about it from this perspective. If you're not going out with the discernment that only God can give you, then you're going to impregnate a Boogerwolf. Or
get pregnant by a Boogerwolf.
Well, there's another term for a dude.
What's that?
Do you really want to know this?
Yes.
So you have your Boogerwolves, right? We already discussed who they are, right? And then you got the freaky bum. Now the freaky bum is he is the epitome of the lowest level of manhood.
He'll drink your bathwater type shit.
He's just the freaky bum.
Yes.
Like his life is just
a hobosexual.
Hobo-ness. Right? But his purpose is only just nastiness with females.
Yeah.
And the reason why he's called a freaky bum, it's not necessarily he get freaky with females. It's that this dude's level of bumness is a freak into itself.
Yeah.
Okay? So when the freaky bum, watch where I'm going.
Meets the Boogerwolf.
You get Bebe's kids. That's it. Another episode of Rell Gato TV, man. This one was funny. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Share it too.
Share. This one was a good episode, man. Had a good time,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Shout out to everybody supporting the Decode Dating platform. Shout out to everybody who's showing love to Rell Gato TV. We're gonna keep the content coming. Until next time, man. Be blessed, be well. Peace.
Peace.